Have you ever been told that fat is the enemy, that it clogs your arteries, makes you overweight, and ruins your health? What if I told you that this belief is one of the biggest nutritional lies of the last century? The truth is shocking. The very nutrient you were told to fear might be the key you've been missing to achieve rapid weight loss, real fat burning, and finally slim down in a way that actually lasts. Forget the endless cycle of dieting, starving, and failing, because today you'll discover why fat is not the villain in your diet, and how using it strategically could help you lose weight fast, boost metabolism, and eliminate abdominal fat more effectively than most popular plans out there. This video is not about repeating the same old advice you've heard 1,000 times. It's about exposing the myths that keep you stuck, frustrated, and unable to lose belly fat, no matter how much you try. You're going to learn why avoiding fat could actually be the reason you're struggling with weight loss, why your body craves energy in the wrong way, and why slimming becomes so much harder when you rely on outdated dietary guidelines. By the end of this video, you will not only understand how fat can accelerate fat burning, but also how to lose weight healthily without giving up delicious, satisfying meals. So if you've ever wondered why cutting calories doesn't work, why your cravings never stop, or why belly fat refuses to disappear no matter what, stay tuned. What you're about to discover is not just information, it's a blueprint for transformation. And once you understand this truth, you'll never look at food, your body, or the process of weight loss the same way again. For decades, people have been misled into believing that dietary fat is the cause of obesity, heart disease, and almost every health problem imaginable. Governments, industries, and even well-meaning health professionals repeated the same message: cut the fat if you want to slim down. The result? Instead of helping people lose weight fast, this advice triggered a massive rise in obesity, diabetes, and metabolic disorders worldwide.
Why?
Because when fat was removed from diets, it was replaced with refined carbohydrates and sugar. The promise of slimming turned into a nightmare of constant hunger, unstoppable cravings, and an inability to eliminate abdominal fat. People kept eating, not because they lacked willpower, but because the very structure of their diet was designed to keep them trapped. The irony is that fat, the supposed enemy, is not what makes us gain weight uncontrollably. In fact, healthy fats play an essential role in fat burning, hormone regulation, and appetite control. They don't spike insulin, they don't force your body into fat storage mode, and they don't create the same addictive cycle that carbohydrates do. When you eat a balanced portion of fat along with protein, your body feels satisfied for hours. This makes it easier to lose weight healthily, without constant snacking or the painful sense of deprivation that sabotages so many diets. Fat works with your body, not against it, which is why understanding this truth can help you lose belly fat and achieve sustainable slimming. Most people fail to recognize that weight gain is less about calories and more about hormones, especially insulin. Whenever you consume foods high in refined carbs, your blood sugar spikes, insulin floods your system, and your body receives the command to store energy as fat. This makes it nearly impossible to access stored fat for energy, even if you're cutting calories. On the other hand, when your meals are rich in healthy fats, your insulin response stays low, and your metabolism switches into fat-burning mode. This is why many people who make this shift report being able to lose weight fast without feeling like they're suffering. It's not magic, it's science. Another critical point is how fat impacts satiety. Imagine eating a bowl of pasta or bread. Within an hour or two, you're hungry again, desperate for another snack. Now compare that with a meal of eggs, avocado, and olive oil. So while people obsess over eliminating butter or cheese from their meals, the real culprit behind stubborn abdominal fat is the constant overload of refined carbs and sugar. The more carbs you eat, the more your body manufactures fat internally, and the harder it becomes to slim down. When you begin to eat more fat and fewer carbs, however, the opposite happens. Your liver doesn't need to churn out new fat, your insulin levels stay under control, and your body starts burning both dietary fat and stored fat for fuel. This process is often referred to as becoming fat adapted, and it is one of the most powerful metabolic states for weight loss. People in this state often report feeling energized, clear-headed, and able to burn fat almost effortlessly. Instead of being dependent on constant carb intake, their bodies switch to a steady fat-burning engine. For anyone looking to lose weight fast, eliminate abdominal fat, and boost metabolism, this is a game changer. Yet, despite all of this evidence, the fear of fat remains one of the strongest nutritional myths in modern culture. Food companies push low-fat products filled with sugar, doctors still warn patients to avoid red meat or butter, and media headlines continue to blame fat for diseases it doesn't cause. The tragedy is that millions of people who desperately want to lose weight healthily are following advice that actually makes their struggle worse. By removing fat, they set themselves up for uncontrollable hunger, slower metabolism, and constant fat storage. It's not a lack of discipline holding them back, it's bad information. The truth is liberating once you see it clearly. Fat is not the villain, it's a tool. Used correctly, it can help you lose belly fat, slim down without starving, and boost metabolism in a way that feels sustainable. The key is learning how to use it strategically, pairing it with the right nutrients, and avoiding the combination of fat with refined sugar, which truly is dangerous. This knowledge is what separates those who continue struggling from those who finally achieve lasting slimming results. And in this video, you'll see exactly how to put it into practice. If you truly want to understand why slimming has become so difficult for so many people, you have to stop looking at calories as the main explanation and start paying attention to hormones. Calories matter, of course, but they don't tell the whole story. What really determines whether you lose belly fat or store it is the hormonal signal your body receives after each meal. The most powerful hormone in this equation is insulin. When insulin is high, fat burning shuts down. When insulin is low, your body opens the doors to burn stored fat. It's that simple, yet most weight loss advice completely ignores this reality. Think about it. If losing weight fast was just about calories, then eating 1,500 calories of sugar should have the same effect as eating 1,500 calories of steak and vegetables. But anyone who has ever tried that experiment knows the difference. A sugar-heavy day leaves you bloated, tired, and craving more food, while a protein and fat-rich day keeps you satisfied and energized. The difference is hormonal. Sugar spikes insulin, commanding your body to store energy as fat. Fat and protein, on the other hand, keep insulin stable, making fat burning possible even between meals. This process doesn't just help you lose belly fat, it also transforms how your entire metabolism operates. But let's address one of the biggest fears people still have: heart health. For years, saturated fats were blamed for clogged arteries and heart attacks. But modern research shows that the real risk factors are elevated triglycerides, high blood sugar, and chronic inflammation, all of which are driven by excessive carbohydrate consumption, not fat. In fact, when people switch to diets rich in healthy fats, their triglycerides often plummet, their HDL cholesterol improves, and their markers of inflammation decrease. Instead of harming the heart, fat actually helps restore balance. This is a crucial point because it shows that slimming and protecting your cardiovascular system can go hand in hand. By focusing on lowering insulin and boosting fat burning, you not only lose weight fast, but also improve long-term health outcomes. Let's also talk about cravings, because this is where so many diets fail. Carbs are addictive. They trigger dopamine responses in the brain similar to addictive substances, creating a cycle of desire and reward. The more you eat, the more you want. That's why so many people find themselves snacking late at night, unable to stop at just one cookie or one slice of bread. Fat, however, doesn't have this effect. It satisfies without creating compulsive behavior. When your meals are built on fat and protein, you feel full and content, and your brain isn't screaming for the next hit of sugar. This is a massive advantage when your goal is to eliminate abdominal fat because it means you're no longer battling willpower every hour of the day. Another powerful effect of lowering carbs and eating more fat is what happens during fasting. Normally, when you go a few hours without food, if your body relies on carbs, you feel shaky, irritable, and desperate for your next meal. But if you're fat adapted, fasting feels entirely different. Your body smoothly transitions from burning the fat you just ate to burning the fat stored on your belly, thighs, and hips. This makes intermittent fasting, which is one of the most effective strategies for slimming, far easier to sustain. Instead of suffering, you feel stable, focused, and surprisingly energized. This is where real fat burning happens, not only when you're eating but also during the long, calm periods between meals. It's also important to understand that the fat you eat is not the same as the fat you store. Dietary fat enters your body, and if insulin is low, is quickly used for energy. The dangerous fat that contributes to obesity and heart disease is often created internally from excess carbs. This means that someone eating a low-fat but high-carb diet may end up with more harmful fat circulating in their blood than someone eating butter, eggs, and steak. It's a paradox that shocks most people, but once you grasp it, the entire strategy for weight loss becomes clear. If you want to lose belly fat and slim down effectively, you must reduce the foods that trigger your body to create and store fat in the first place, namely refined carbs and sugar. Of course, none of this means that all fats are equal. There are healthy fats that promote fat burning and unhealthy processed fats that truly do harm. The key is focusing on natural sources like olive oil, avocado, fatty fish, nuts, and high-quality animal products. These foods don't just provide energy, they also deliver essential vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids that support hormone balance, brain function, and metabolic health. When your diet is built on these foundations, you're not just losing weight fast, you're losing weight healthily, in a way that your body can sustain for life. The shift may feel counterintuitive at first, especially if you've been told for years to avoid fat at all costs. But when you see your belly fat shrinking, your cravings fading, and your energy levels soaring, you'll understand why fat is not the villain. It will feel liberating because you'll eat real, satisfying foods while watching your belly fat shrink and your energy rise. The foundation of this approach is simple. Build your meals around protein and healthy fats, then add nutrient-rich vegetables and small amounts of natural carbs from fruit. This combination creates the perfect hormonal environment for fat burning. For example, instead of starting your day with cereal or bread, try eggs cooked in butter, avocado on the side, and perhaps some spinach sautéed in olive oil. This kind of meal doesn't spike insulin, keeps you full for hours, and sets you up to lose weight fast without constant hunger. Compare that with a traditional low-fat breakfast of toast and orange juice, which leaves you hungry by mid-morning and desperate for a snack. The difference is not just in calories, it's in hormones, satiety, and metabolism. Lunch and dinner can follow the same principle. Focus on a source of protein such as chicken, fish, or beef. Pair it with a generous portion of vegetables, and add fats for flavor and satiety. Olive oil on your salad, butter on your steamed broccoli, or a side of guacamole. These meals are not only delicious but also structured to boost metabolism and keep you in fat-burning mode. The mistake many people make is trying to eliminate fat while eating protein and carbs together. That combination keeps insulin high and shuts down your ability to eliminate abdominal fat. By prioritizing fat and protein and minimizing fast carbs, you shift your body into a state where slimming becomes the natural outcome. Snacking is another area where people often sabotage themselves. If you're constantly reaching for crackers, granola bars, or fruit juices, you're keeping your insulin elevated all day long. This makes it impossible to burn fat effectively, no matter how healthy those snacks appear. Instead, when you genuinely need something between meals, choose options like nuts, cheese, boiled eggs, or even a spoonful of natural peanut butter. These snacks are rich in fat and protein, stabilize blood sugar, and keep cravings under control. Over time, you'll find that you don't even need to snack as often because your meals keep you satisfied for much longer. This is one of the clearest signs that you are moving toward true fat adaptation. Hydration also plays a role in slimming and metabolism. Many people mistake thirst for hunger, leading them to eat when what their body really needs is water. Drinking enough water throughout the day supports digestion, energy, and fat burning. Adding electrolytes, such as a pinch of salt or a squeeze of lemon, can also prevent fatigue and keep your metabolism strong, especially if you are reducing carbs. Staying hydrated makes it easier to lose weight healthily because your body works more efficiently when it has the fluids it needs. One of the most powerful tools you can add to this strategy is intermittent fasting. Once you are eating more fat and fewer carbs, fasting becomes surprisingly easy because your body is already relying on stored fat for fuel. Instead of forcing yourself to eat 6 small meals a day, you can naturally extend the time between meals, allowing your body long stretches of uninterrupted fat burning. For example, if you finish dinner at 7 p.m. and don't eat again until 11 a.m. the next day, you've created a 16-hour window where your insulin is low and your body is actively burning stored belly fat. This accelerates slimming without feeling like deprivation because fat and protein-based meals keep you full enough to go for longer without eating. Of course, there are pitfalls to avoid if you want lasting results. One of the biggest mistakes is combining high fat with high sugar. Unlike crash diets, this approach doesn't require willpower every second of the day. It simply changes the way your body processes food so that weight loss becomes the natural outcome. And let's not forget the role of mindset. Many people approach weight loss with fear, guilt, and the belief that it must be painful. But when you stop seeing fat as the villain, you also stop seeing food as the enemy. You begin to view meals as fuel, not as a trap. This psychological shift is just as important as the physical changes. When you're no longer battling cravings, hunger, and frustration, you feel empowered. You know you can slim down, lose belly fat, and boost metabolism without punishing yourself. That confidence keeps you consistent, and consistency is what guarantees results. Finally, remember that this journey is not about perfection, it's about progress. Every step you take toward reducing fast carbs, eating more healthy fats, and respecting your body's signals moves you closer to your goal. Some days will be easier than others, but the overall direction matters more than a single slip. Over weeks and months, these choices add up to visible changes: clothes fitting better, energy rising, belly fat shrinking, and a body that feels stronger and lighter. This is the reward for embracing the truth. Fat is not your enemy. It is your ally in the fight for real, sustainable weight loss. When you put all of this together, balanced meals, strategic fasting, hydration, avoiding the fat and sugar combo, and a positive mindset, you create a lifestyle that supports long-term slimming. You don't just lose weight fast for a few weeks. You build habits that allow you to lose weight healthily and keep it off. And perhaps the most powerful benefit of all is freedom. Freedom from constant hunger, freedom from dieting fads, and freedom from the belief that you are destined to struggle forever. With this knowledge, you take back control, and your body finally begins to work for you instead of against you. By now, you've seen how everything you've been told about fat has been upside down. What was once painted as the nutrient that would destroy your health is actually the missing piece in your journey toward weight loss, slimming, and lasting vitality. But let's go even deeper because the story doesn't end with simply losing belly fat or burning calories more efficiently. The role of fat in your diet touches every aspect of your life: your hormones, your brain, your mood, your energy, and even your long-term health. Once you realize that fat is not the villain, you begin to see how it can actually be your strongest ally, not only to lose weight fast, but also to build a body and lifestyle that feel balanced and powerful. One of the most overlooked benefits of eating more healthy fats is their effect on hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers that regulate everything from appetite to sleep, from energy to fat storage. Many of the key hormones in your body, including testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol, require fat as their building blocks. When you deprive yourself of fat, you deprive your body of the raw materials it needs to keep hormones balanced. That's why so many people on extremely low-fat diets report fatigue, mood swings, loss of libido, and stubborn abdominal fat that refuses to disappear. It's not that they're eating too much, it's that they're starving their hormonal system. Once fat returns to the diet, these systems stabilize, metabolism is boosted, and fat burning becomes natural again. This is why losing weight healthily is not only about eating less, but about eating smarter. Another hidden advantage of fat is its impact on the brain. Your brain is nearly 60% fat by weight, and it thrives on fatty acids for fuel and repair. When your diet is stripped of fat, your mental performance often declines. People describe feeling foggy, anxious, and unable to concentrate. On the other hand, when you increase your intake of healthy fats, your brain receives the nourishment it needs. Slimming doesn't have to mean suffering, it can mean freedom. But let's also address one of the biggest fears that still holds people back. What about fat storage in the body? If fat is calorie-dense, won't eating more of it make you fat automatically? This is one of the most damaging myths in nutrition. Fat alone does not trigger fat storage. What triggers it is the hormonal response from carbs and sugar. Without high levels of insulin in the system, dietary fat is far more likely to be burned as energy rather than locked away in your belly. This means that the true culprit behind stubborn abdominal fat is not butter or steak. It's the bread, pasta, pastries, and sodas that push insulin sky high and keep your metabolism stuck in storage mode. Once you remove those, fat becomes fuel instead of fattening. Even more surprising is that your body can create its own fat from carbohydrates through a process called de novo lipogenesis. When you eat too many carbs, especially refined ones, your liver converts the excess into fatty acids, which are then stored in your belly and around your organs. This is the dangerous fat linked to heart disease and diabetes. So, ironically, a diet low in fat, but high in carbs can leave you with more fat inside your body than a diet rich in natural fats. This is why people often fail to eliminate abdominal fat despite eating light or low-fat foods, because those products are usually packed with hidden sugars that fuel fat production internally. It's a vicious cycle that keeps millions of people stuck, never able to slim down no matter how disciplined they are. By contrast, when you flip the script and embrace fat, you break that cycle. Your liver no longer has to manufacture fat, your insulin stays low, and your metabolism runs smoothly. This doesn't just result in weight loss, it also protects your heart, improves blood markers, and enhances overall health. You get slimmer, but you also get healthier. You lose belly fat, but you also gain stability and confidence. You burn fat for fuel, and you feel unstoppable. This is the real reward of learning the truth. Still, let's be clear, not all fats are equal. Healthy fats from whole foods, avocados, olive oil, fatty fish, grass-fed meats, nuts, seeds, and even full-fat dairy provide your body with what it needs to function at its best. Unhealthy processed fats, especially hydrogenated oils and trans fats found in many packaged foods, should be avoided. The distinction is crucial because one type of fat boosts metabolism and supports weight loss healthily, while the other inflames your body and slows down your progress. The key is to return to natural sources of fat, the kinds humans have eaten for thousands of years, instead of the industrial products that truly damage health. At this point, you might be thinking, how do I put all of this into action without overcomplicating it? The answer is simpler than you imagine. Start with small swaps. Replace your sugary breakfast with eggs and avocado. Swap processed snacks for a handful of nuts. Add olive oil to your salads instead of low-fat dressings loaded with sugar. Cook with butter instead of seed oils. Reduce bread, pasta, and sweets and replace them with vegetables cooked in fat and paired with protein. These steps alone will shift your insulin response, boost fat burning, and put you on the path to slimming without feeling deprived. Over time, as your body adapts, you'll notice that you naturally eat less because your hunger is under control. The real question is not whether this works. The science and the results speak for themselves. The question is whether you're ready to challenge the old beliefs that have been holding you back. There's a specially designed solution to speed up your metabolism, control cravings, and support your weight loss journey naturally and effectively. Click the link in the first pinned comment to start transforming your body.